What is up, YouTube? It's Dr. Style Gaming, or DSG. We are back at it again with another Anthem news video for you all today. And today we're going to be talking about some more things that Mark Darrah has asked on Twitter, or answered on Twitter, I should say. And we're going to be talking a bit about some of the new information that Ben Irving has also talked about, because he did say that they conducted a playtest for Anthem 2 days ago. And I'll get more into that at the end of the video and what that could possibly mean for Gamescom, some new footage there. Next, let's just get straight into all of the brand new Anthem news. Now, the first bit of brand new information that was asked on Twitter was about something that I covered 2 videos ago, and it was about the Sentinels pilots. And we know that the Sentinels pilots are called Lancers. Now, when it was first brought up, I didn't know if they had originally meant that the Lancers was just an abbreviated term of Freelancers, or if in fact that's what the pilots of the Sentinels would be called. And in fact, that does seem to be the case. Mark Darrah came out and said that Freelancers is a subset and Lancers is a broader term, meaning that there could possibly be other types of Lancers out there from different organizations and different things of that sort. But I'm not going to go too much into that, because the question was actually asked by another great Anthem YouTube content creator called Your Anthem, and he made a video discussing that today. So I will leave a link to his video in the description of this video. So check that out when you get a chance, because he went into pretty good detail and it's a pretty good watch. The next bit of information is about the auction houses in Anthem. Now, they were asked about auction house, I should say, and we know that there's not going to be any player versus player trading or anything of that sort. We know that there will be vendors and NPCs that we could trade with at Fort Tarsis, but in terms of player and player trading, there's none of that in Anthem. Now, when asked about if there would be auction houses in the game, the answer was pretty much self-explanatory, and it was pretty much no. So if there's no real form of trading in the game, there would be no real need for an auction house. But that's pretty much what he had to say on that there are no auction houses in Anthem. Next bit of new information is about the loot drops. And I've covered this before in a previous video. And they were pretty much asking, when you're playing co-op, how will loot drops work? So Mark Darrah went on to say that loot drops are instanced, and what that means is if you're playing with a friend and you both kill the same enemies, you will get 2 separate loot. Or I won't say separate loot. It will be designated to yourself. So your friend will see a certain types of loot, and you will see certain types of loot. You won't see the exact same loot on the screen, and you won't have to rush to try and pick up that loot. Every player will see their own loot in the game. That's what they mean by it being instanced. So I've covered that before, but I just wanted to reiterate it because I hadn't covered that in a long time. So I wanted to put that in this video. Next bit of information is something that I also covered a pretty long time ago, and it was pretty self-explanatory, but they were talking about how the perspective in the world of Anthem would be. He was asking if you would constantly stay in third person in the world of Anthem, or if you'd be able to go to first person. And of course, the answer to that was no. Everything that you do in the world of Anthem is strictly third person. Now, when you're in your Strider or in Fort Tarsis, because those are going to be solo player experiences, everything like that will be in first person. But everything that you do in the game, mission-wise, things like that, are going to be third person in the actual open world of Anthem. So that's that bit of information. Now, this next bit of information is kind of interesting. It's talking about weapon blueprints or crafting. Now, he kind of really didn't touch too much on the actual question. He kind of just gave us a different one. Well, originally it was asked if when we get our weapon blueprints for crafting, would we get to keep the blueprints just in case if we accidentally destroy or dismantle one of our weapons, would we still keep the blueprints? Now, he really didn't even answer this question at all, but instead gave us a different answer. He's saying that the weapon blueprints are going to be obtained separately. So I guess you could kind of make of that what you will. I'm not even going to try and get too much into that. But apparently weapon blueprints are going to be how we craft some of our weapons, whether it be resources or items that you farm in game to do so. But that's what you need for weapon blueprints. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. Like I said, he kind of just avoided the question, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. The next bit of information was talking about your group and staying linked together. So when asked if after completing a mission and going back to Fort Tarsus or your Strider, if you're playing in co-op at least, would you still be linked with your teammates or group or party after you've completed the mission? And Mark Darrah did have to say, yes, you will stay linked together in your party after completing a mission. So after you're done with the mission, you go back to Fort Tarsus, you can jump straight back into the open world, go do another mission in the world in Anthem without having to re-find your teammate, going back to the friends list, re-adding them, doing all that. You'll stay linked together, I guess, until you disband in the game. Now, the next bit of information was pretty interesting, and I kind of suspected it, but he touched on it anyway. So they were talking about the gear mods in Anthem. Now, when asked if you'd be able to use gear mods for other Javelins, such as the Colossus and Ranger, which was an example given, Mark Darrah did have to go on to say that your gear mods are going to be Javelin specific, meaning you can only use Storm gear mods for Storm, Ranger gear mods for Rangers, Colossus for Colossus, Interceptor for Interceptor, and so on. All your mods for your Javelins are going to be Javelin specific. You won't be able to mix and match them, which I'm okay with. That's perfectly fine. But that was something new that he touched on, so I wanted to put that in there. Now, the next bit of information is kind of a twofer, but it's just talking about Strongholds. Now, I've kind of mentioned this previously as well, but they were asking if you'd be able to solo Strongholds, and according to Mark Darrah, no, you can't. Your Strongholds are going to be 4-player Strongholds. So for all those people, I know Destiny had a pretty decent community of players that love to solo raids, solo nightfall, solo strikes, do things like that. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case for Strongholds, at least. Who knows if you'll be able to do that for other in-game activities, but for Strongholds at the moment, it doesn't look like you'll be able to run that solo. And like I said, they've mentioned that previously before, but again, it's been a very long time since I've covered that in a video, so I wanted to put that in there. And then also, on a side note to the Strongholds, another question that was asked was if Strongholds are going to be story-related missions, or campaign-related missions, I should say. And he did have to say that Strongholds aren't actually campaign-related missions, because, again, those are in-game type activities, and they are meant to be higher difficulty experiences in the game, most likely after you complete the story mode, a reason to get your gear power up and get better weapons so you can encounter and run some of these Strongholds and other in-game activities to get even more better gear and loot in the game. So that is that for all of the new Mark Darrah information that was covered. Now let's get into some of the Ben Irving information. So like I said at the beginning of the video, they playtested Anthem 2 days ago, and Ben Irving is the lead producer of Anthem, and he was just giving us some feedback and topics that were talked about after the playtest had, I guess, finished. And some of the feedback topics that were talked about were combat mechanics, creatures, gear, weapons, and teamwork. There was a lot more that was talked about, but those are the ones that really stood out to me. So I like that they're tweaking combat mechanics right now. It's cool that they're talking about creatures is one of the topics that was brought up. Hopefully they're not just going to be all bullet sponges. There'll be some tactics to fighting them. And then weapons and gear, hopefully that's going to be balanced and worked out. And then teamwork, I'm glad that he mentioned that, because that is an essential part of a co-op shooter. So making sure that everybody has a reason to be in the mission and something to do. So I'm glad he touched on that, but that also brought up the thought that I wonder why they're playtesting Anthem right now. I know most games when they're in development, there's always playtesting, but Gamescom is coming up, so I'm wondering if they're actually playtesting a new demo or some new gameplay footage that they're getting ready to show off at Gamescom, because typically at Gamescom, that's what they do. They either show off new gameplay or new trailers for games. So I'm wondering if this is prep for some brand new Gamescom footage we should be seeing. We know that they will have a panel at PAX East, so hopefully that's what this brand new playtest for Anthem is hopefully some brand new footage that I can bring to the channel and show you guys, because I know we're tired of seeing the same E3 2018 demo over and over and over again on every YouTuber's channel, period. So hopefully we get some brand new information. But that is all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Be sure to check out the link in the description to your Anthem's video. That's all I got, though. Peace, everyone.